It says I'm live, so hopefully I am. Hello, 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 hello. It's Janet, the plant-powered peddler. And for anyone who's never been here before, I've lost 90 pounds. I went whole food plant-based in 2020 and dropped 15 pounds first month, and it just kept melting off. So, and I've kept it off for all this time. Is it 6 years now? I went raw a year ago, September 1st, with Dr. Goldner's Goodbye Lupus, and 6 weeks rapid recovery. I was trying to heal my skin, and I just stayed raw. I've just really enjoyed it. And I found, met Chris Kendall doing one of the Lissa's Raw Food Romance, one of her vegan bundles. And he told me about Doug Graham and 80-10-10. And I just spent 6 weeks in Costa Rica with Dr. Graham. I was diagnosed with osteopenia, and everybody says it's normal, but I'm going to try to reverse it because I want bone strength into my ages, because I tour on a bicycle and I need strong bones. And apparently bicycling, I'm not getting in bicycling, which, it's not weight bearing, so that makes sense. But I've always lifted weights, and he says, I need to power lift. I need to lift heavier weights, as we're seeing now on YouTube, like with the Honesty channel, her parents, wow, they're doing major good things. So I'm powerlifting, still bicycling. In fact, I bicycled to the gym today and powerlifted and then bicycled home. I don't see myself stopping bicycling anytime soon, but I definitely will continue to incorporate both powerlifting and yoga, because at this age, flexibility also becomes an issue, and I want to be able to be as flexible as possible, being able to do whatever I need to do in any situation, especially with my travel on a bicycle. So next month, I'm going to head out on my own, on my bicycle, fully loaded, and I'm going to ride up to the San Juan Islands. I don't know if you know about Warm Showers, but Warm Showers is an organization where anybody can go on to warmshowers.org and register to host cycle tours. It's just for cycle tours, and it's wonderful because people give us a bed to sleep in, a lot of times a meal. They offer laundry if they've got it, washer and dryer, shower, and just wonderful conversation and visits. I really love it. In fact, I just interviewed with Jerry at Warm Showers, and just had a great time talking with him. So that interview will be coming out in June. And it's just, talking about bicycle touring, which I love to do. So I'm going to ride up to Port Townsend, stay with the Warm Showers host, and then the next day I will ride to Anacortes and stay in a little motel. And we'll stay there 2 nights. And then I will ride Orcas Island and stay with a host. And then Friday Harbor and stay with the host. And then Lopez, and head back to Anacortes for the little hotel. And then back to Port Townsend and stay with the same Warm Shower people, and then home. So that's my plan. And Stephen is not going to go. He's just moved into some other things. He's going to be 79 next Wednesday, so he gets to do whatever he wants. At 79, I feel that's just for him to be here is a gift. So we'll see how that goes. So today I'm making some wraps, because wraps are just wonderful to have for rides. And right now our riding season has begun tomorrow. I'm going to lead a ride in Silverdale, and I've limited it to 8 people. So far 9 are coming, but 2 are on a tandem. And I've got a couple on the wait list, but gosh, I don't like to really get above 8 people because I just can't. In this Kitsap County, the infrastructure is still being updated to the standards that we like, with bicycle lanes and by nice big shoulders and separated paths, and we're not anything like across the water where Seattle is, where it's just so fun. It's preferable to ride over into the city, except that it's so beautiful over here. So we persist, and eventually they'll get caught up, and there's still plenty of places that we can find, but I don't like the crowd. I don't like the group to get so big that we're in anybody's way, or slowing anybody down. So with that said, if there's any other cycle tours out there, let me know. I've been listening to the Warm Showers podcasts and all the different trips that people are going on. Oh my goodness, they're just wonderful. All over the world. So you can go anywhere. Bike packing. I am making her bagel wraps. I'm mostly on the everything but the bagel wrap, but now with 80-10-10, I switched things up a little bit. And so far I've been successful. That's always the risk, that I won't be successful because she has everything just measured to the T. But so far I've made beet wrap, and actually very similar to the everything bagel wrap, but instead of using dates and psyllium husk, I'm using flax instead of the psyllium, because psyllium apparently is really rough on our gut lining, and my gut needs all the help it can get after 50 years of constipation. So um, I'm trying the flax and chia together, and so far it's worked. And then the 80-10-10 doesn't have sweet fruit at night, and dates are sweet fruit. So I'm just using other things just to see, because the wrap doesn't need to be sweet for me. And so the thing is trying to get something with similar consistency, because you want it to be a batterish spread when it's wet, so that it dries into a nice thickness of wrap, so it stays together when you're making things. So I'll just run through what I'm going to throw in here today. I've actually got 4 wraps I'm going to make. So each recipe makes 2 wraps. So I've got 2 recipes out. And the big ingredient is the onion. So I'll show you what I'm doing. Here's my blender here. And here is onion, apple, and sweet potato. So that's going to go in. It's a kind of a wet day today, but it was nice. I just bundled up and put some rain gear on and headed out, and it was just fine. And I did about 18 miles, 7 miles there, and then I took a long route back. Okay, I'm going to cut up this sweet potato a little bit more, except that I've put everything away. So I don't know why I did that. That's silly. I'm always wanting to do something. So I'll get my knife here. So anybody else going out? Maybe you're all out there riding today. I know I'm terrible. I should announce when I'm going to be on, but I just never know. And you never know how long it'll take to get things ready. So I just cut the sweet potato into more manageable pieces. And then it's just mostly little odds and ends. There's some miso and vinegar here. And get that in. And then got some onion powder. And some garlic. And then instead of the dates, I'm going to try some blackberries. And I measure them the same, but of course the consistency is going to be different, and they're not going to be as sweet as date. But one of my girlfriends, she didn't like how sweet they were, so I told her about it. Last time I used a kiwi, and that worked. It made a fine date or a fine wrap. Okay, and then I just put in a couple tablespoons of tahini, and I got to put in 2 cups of water. So let me get some water. And yeah, everybody's busy today. I don't see one other person on here, and that's it. Come on and talk to me. Don't be shy. I'd like the company. Oops, I got a little too much water in here. Let's try that. Who's here? All right, I'm just going to add the water. Blend her up. Put this down here so I don't lose it on the blender. It's a full blender full, as you can see. And I'll need this. All right, here we go. There we go. And away we go. Ooh, it's pink. That's from the blackberries. That's pretty. My beet wrap turned bright, deep red. Deep red. Oh, it's so pretty. All right. Now I'm going to add the flax and the chia. So I still add it afterwards like Lissa does. And this I may have blended too long because it started to become thicker, harder, more oily. Because they are omega-3 fats. And I love this little NutriBullet grinder. I always grind my seeds in it. I had an old coffee grinder that I was using, but I definitely prefer this one. Well, knew that was going to happen. Crashing in the kitchen. Yeah, so I'll have to get that up and running for the next wrap. Okay, so I'm just going to pulse this and get it in there. Otherwise, that all congregates on the top of on the lid of the blender. I'm just going to pulse it a few times. Nate says 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And that's a wrap. A wrap of wraps. So now we have to get it out on the sheet and spread it around. All right. So come on down here. And let's pour it out and see what happens here. Okay. pretty good. It's a little bit more soupy than the usual, but we'll see. If it turns out a little bit flatter, I don't, that's okay. It's kind of fun trying the different things and seeing. But I have a feeling the dates are also for consistency because this is the third wrap I've done without date. And well, and the psyllium husk too is a binder. So, but flax is too. I don't know. With the flax, I could make a flax egg. Maybe I'll try that this time. And soak it in water and maybe use a little bit less water then. All right, so we'll get out our offset knife. So these things they're worth their weight in gold. And then we'll just spread it out and sprinkle it with the everything but the bagel sprinkle. And give it a try. Just put it in overnight. See what it does. Definitely more juice than usual. Sure spreads nice. I notice if I don't, if I just let the juice be on the ends, of course, then it dries to nothingness. And then the wrap doesn't have a corner, which again, it's not the worst thing in the world. I usually cut them into quarters, and I have a quarter at a time. Last night, I had 2 quarters. So it just depends on how hungry I am. Last night, I had the best sleep. Best sleep I've had in a long time. My goodness. I hope that happens again. Well, I was just at the Texas Fruits Festival, and I had this fellow, Riley. He was there volunteering to do body work, and he worked on me a little bit. And oh my goodness. I wonder if it's his healing hands. But I didn't have any restless leg. It was really nice. Whoop. You have to be really careful. Get it just right. Goldilocks right. Not too, thick in one area and thin in another. I'm going to try to get it as even as you can so that it dries evenly. All right, let's try this guy. You can see all the excess fluid here. But the dehydrator will take care of that. Or if it gets too wet, does that cause, something you don't want? I don't know. I don't know. I love having a wrap in the evening, though, with my salad. Let's see, it's Wednesday. Everybody's busy. All right. Then I'm going to sprinkle the seeds and stick them in the dehydrator. Get things going. I don't know if I've ever, I guess I have done 4 at one time before. So my sprinkles. It's, what all is this? Sesame? I can't read it. I'll just use my hands. Because I'm the only one that eats these. Stephen uses, Dave's Killer Bread. Okay. So there you have it. There's two. Pretty quick. Let's see, how long did it take us? 20 minutes. I don't know. I don't think that's not a bad time, do you think? And then they'll dehydrate all night. So let me get these out of here. And I've got just about everything ready for the next batch. So funny because I got all this time and there's nobody around. Oh well. I know people are curious about the wraps, so that'll be nice. But at least they can see what I've done here. I'm turning it up a little bit, the dehydrator, just to get things going. For the first couple of hours, I learned that in Costa Rica when I was there. Okay, so round two. So I've got another batch almost all put together here. Let's go. And here's the beet I'm going to use in this recipe. So instead of the blackberries, I'm using beet. All right, so here's the onion. And I've got to cut up the apple. I hate to do apple too far ahead of time because it turns brown. It oxidates. Okay, and then sweet potato and beet. And garlic. And then we've got onion powder. We got the miso and apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to cut up this sweet potato a little bit. Just because. Cut off the end. There's a little something on there. Okay. Put that in. And tahini. Okay. And apple. Oh, who's here? Cal. Hi, y'all. North Carolina, way across the state. We're all completely across from each other. But hello. Is it Katie? Katie with a C. That's the first I've seen a Katie with a C. But welcome. I just made one of Lissa's wraps, and now I'm making wrap number 2. And you can see here, I've got a blender through. I've got a blender full here. So it's her everything but the bagel wrap. But I'm doing a couple of substitutions because of being 80-10-10. So I have to sub out the sweet fruit and because of food combining, and the psyllium husk is, I'm told, is really hard on my gut. So I'm laying off the psyllium husk, and I'm trying to use flax and chia rather than psyllium husk and chia for the binders. So we'll see. You know, I've been experimenting, and I've made a couple wraps, and they've done okay. So let's see. The apple, I need 185 grams. So I've almost got it here. I like it when there's leftover because then I get some of it. Some apple. Okay, almost got it here. 189. 187. Doesn't take much to, there we go. 185. I better cut these as I put them in. They got to fit in this blender. And I think I won't put in as much water. Okay. So there's that. And then I need to get the chia and the flax ready. So I do those, I blend those at the last minute. Katie with a C, got it. And I'm Janet. Of course, you know that. So another thing I'm going to do tonight, I did, what was it called? It was a curry last night. Tonight is a tomato. I did an apple curry koodle. That was really good. Tonight I'm doing tomato basil koodles. So, and I've still got some of the apple koodle left. So I'm going to kind of blend the two. Have some of each. Let's see. Have to pay attention to what I'm doing. So are you, Katie, are you whole food plant-based? I've been raw a while now. I really enjoy it. So I don't see myself getting off it anytime soon. Okay, so I'm going to measure the chia. And it's 20 grams of chia. I got 21 here. Come on, there. 20 grams of chia and then 25 grams of flax. So I want 45 in all. $43, $44. Come on, $45. And then I'm gonna blend it in my little spice grinder. I love being plant-based and even raw. You know, it just seems like the more I do it, the more I want to do it. So it's so much fun. And I just feel so good all the time. Like when I flew back from Texas on Monday, I got woken up at 2:30 in the morning, Texas time. So it was 12:30 here in the Northwest, you know, just after midnight. And then I was up. So I got up and I got to the airport. I had a 6 o'clock flight. So I had to get there early anyway. And I got home here and I was up until bedtime, 9 o'clock. And I was fine. And I had a regular sleep through the night, which means I'm up every couple hours having to pee. And got up the next morning and had all day yesterday. And then last night I slept the best I've slept in ages. Only woke up one time. That was amazing. But my recovery is so much better on this diet, on this lifestyle. So I'm sticking with it. Okay, I'm going to blend up these seeds. And then I'm going to blend, I got to put some water in here. I'm just going to do 1 1/4 cups and see how that goes. All right. Let's see how we do here. Well, it's pretty. Nice and red. Oh, I was going to do a flax egg. Oh, well. How quickly I forget. All right, we're going to add the flax and the chia to the batter. It's handy to use a toothbrush to get seed dust out of a. So you weren't here, Katie, when I was talking about I'm going on a bike tour next month. I can't wait. And I'm going to ride up to the San Juan Islands. And I'll probably make more wraps when I do that. But wraps are perfect. Take on a trip with me. But I've been up to the islands before, so I figure it's a good first on my own tour. And there's going to be another group up there doing other things, but they'll be close in case I need something. Okay, we're going to pulse it. I did this one a little bit more because I didn't stir the seeds in. Oh yeah, see, it didn't even touch them. They're still on top. So I'm going to stir them in a little bit. It's so pretty. I'll show you I'll be pouring it out so you'll see. All right, so there we go. That shook things up a little bit. And then I'm going to scrape the sides here. Yeah, I like the consistency of this batter. Here we go. Look at that, isn't that pretty? Okay, so let me get out my sheets. Wait a sec. I usually like to clean as I go. It's a small kitchen, so I like keeping up with everything. Because then it's just such a nice nice little room to come in and play. My little workshop. I got a potluck next week and the potluck the week after. So definitely going to be making some things. Don't want to lose any batter here. There we go. So what do you want to know, Katie? Ask me anything. See if I know the answer. What are you doing now? Standard? Are you just standard American diet? All right. Pour these out. Oh, yeah. I like the consistency of this. Half and half. Yeah. For me, everything I eat is raw right now. Since a year ago, September. So it'll be 2 years in September. And but I was whole food, plant-based up until then, from 2020 to 2024 to September 2024. And that's when I lost all my weight. So, I mean, and of course, being raw, it's pretty tough to gain weight unless you eat a lot of fat, which I don't. I don't really eat that many nuts, more just the chia and the flax, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, that kind of thing. We did bring cashews back from India, so I guess eventually I'll eat those because they're just sitting there. But I love being thinner, so I'm not in any hurry to eat anything that might put weight on me. Although I don't know, I might gain some doing all this powerlifting that I'm doing with Dr. Graham. So we'll see. Okay, there's that. Do you have a Vitamix, Katie? Because one of the easiest things to do is start with a smoothie. Because, you know, anybody likes a smoothie. And, you know, of course, salad, but smoothies are fun. Look at that, pretty. Oh, yeah. A Vitamix is so, you know, you can go on eBay or Craigslist or OfferUp, and a lot of times people get one and they never use it. And eventually they want to clean out their kitchen, and so they put it up. And you can also get refurbished Vitamixes. I think you can get them off Amazon, but gosh, where are the refurbished ones? I got mine at Costco, but you know, next time, of course, I'd want to upgrade mine. This one's been fine, and actually, it stopped working right. I can't remember what it was that wasn't working, But I contacted Vitamix and they fixed it. I had to mail it to them, so I had to be without my Vitamix. But I mailed it with them. They gave me a whole new, what do you call the part that you put things in? The bowl, but it's not a bowl, the pitcher. And they fixed it, and it's great. It was like new. They're so nice. Great customer service. You won't regret it. It's an investment. Okay, there's one. It's just so pretty. There's a lot of things that you can make in the dehydrator. Pizza. I make Chris Kendall's pizza. So good. The crust is made out of zucchini and tomatoes, basically. Yes. Oh, gee. Um, watermelon. I mean, just chop a watermelon in half and have at it. Mangoes. You mean recipes or just eating raw? I mean, today for lunch I took 2 of the champagne mangoes and 3 bananas and blended it up with some carob, and carob is lightly toasted. Um, the red things, they're wraps. They're do you know Lissa from Raw Food Romance? These will make here, I'll show you. I'll show you a done one. Now these aren't exactly Lissa's, but this is a quarter of one. So it's just one square. Whoops. It's just one quarter of the wrap. I cut it into quarters. And then tonight I'll put this in a bowl and I'll cover it with salad. And then I'll put dressing on it and I'll eat it. I pick them up like this, and it's just full of salad. And I'll have one, and last night I had 2 of them. So a half of one can be too much food for me. So I cut them into quarters, and then I can always have more. But if I start eating a half of one, I feel I have to finish it, and then I'm too full. So I've learned to go smaller and then just add. Yeah, wraps. Yay. She is a wizard. Lissa is. She makes the most amazing raw food. And that's what I did when I first started. I joined her meal plan. It was $5 a month at the time. $5 a month. And she gave me every breakfast, lunch, and dinner that I wanted. While I was drinking the Goldner, Brooks Goldner smoothies. You know what those are? And so I was doing that for breakfast, and then I was doing Lissa's lunch and dinner. And, oh, it was great. Doug, the 80-10-10, he eats much more simply. He likes mono meals. Eat a whole meal of just bananas or watermelon or grapes. And I like that too, but I really like to make some recipes. Lissa has, spaghetti and soups. Doug does too. I haven't looked at his soups book. Yes, I did. When I was in Costa Rica, I actually made one of his soups. But that's the most, I haven't had a chance to go back to do that. But, you just put them in your Vitamix and you blend them, and you can even warm them up. The Vitamix will warm it up within 2-3 minutes. The Vitamix will start warming up whatever you're blending in it. Okay, now I'm just going to sprinkle my sprinkles on it. My hand's kind of wet. And these will be ready to go in. When I go out on the bike, I could probably pack enough for the trip I'll be on to have one a day. But another thing on the bike is I'll go and buy a piece of organic corn, raw corn, And then there's all the veggies, broccoli, cauliflower, sugar snap peas, cucumbers. I could just grab a cucumber and just eat it like you would have. Well, I don't want to harm any animals by even talking about anything animal. So, like a carrot. You can eat a cucumber like a carrot. Okay, there we go. There you have it. Isn't that pretty? So I'll stick those in the dehydrator and that's done. So I might as well stick them in because the other two are already going. Be right back. Uh-oh, I dripped. So after a few hours, I go and I check on them, and as they start drying, I start just rotating them 90 degrees, and I might move them around on the shelves if one's drying more than another. But my dehydrator is pretty even, so more I just turn them. And if I get up in the night, I turn them. And by morning, I tend to have to flip mine, whereas Lissa doesn't. She lives in a much drier climate than I do. So, well, we'll see if these turn out. It's kind of fun. So you don't have any questions? Well, thank you for joining me today, Katie. It's always nice to have company. And that's a wrap for the wraps. I'm gonna make that noodle or that tomato curry, but I'm not ready with it yet. But it's got some nice stuff in it. So lots of cherry tomatoes. That's the important thing. You bet, Katie. Thank you. And I'll be back. Like I say, I've got things to potlucks to make things for. So I'll try to get online if I can. You have a good night. Good night, everybody.